Hi, ladies. How are you? I hope this will be painless. I'm not like Lorraine. Look how she's lingered that story. But it's so good to see all of you. It's refreshing. It's refreshing. I had a conversation with some of you earlier, and I'm thinking, me and Mom, I found myself thinking, I wish I knew I wish someone taught me some of the things you girls are learning at your age, at this time when I was your age. You're looking at me and you're trying to figure out how old I am, eh? When you add VAT and you add housing levy and you add, I am 16 plus VAT and housing levy and all that. But the reason why it's important for us to keep having these conversations as women is because women carry a lot of weight, emotional weight. And so in line with the program that Sally invited me for, I titled my talk, Women, Wellness, and the Weight We Carry. And the reason why we carry this weight, some of these reasons are cultural, some of them are social. Think about in a relationship. How much weight do you carry in a relationship? You know, even if we are both working, we'll come home and one of us is one that is expected to know what we are eating, you know, and on and on. And then there's a physical, functional weight of a relationship. But then there's the emotional weight of a relationship. I'm a therapist, and I've been practicing full-time since 2018. And before that, I was counseling, but in the church context. I think it is only once that a guy approached me and said, I would want to come with my wife for therapy. But every other day, there's always a woman saying, can my husband and I come for therapy? My husband and I need therapy. My husband and I need therapy. And then very quickly that woman calls and says, my husband has refused, but can I come? You know? And as we begin to have some of these conversations, some of those marriages are already in trouble by the time they're coming for therapy. And some of those marriages, the woman has carried the weight for so long that by the time they're even seeking help, they're limping. Do you know someone like that? A neighbor, a friend, a cousin, somebody like that? Maybe it's you. But and that's the thing. We carry all this weight with us. And what happens is that as we carry this weight, it shows up. It shows up in different ways. It shows up in our skin. It shows up in our hairline. It shows up on our body. And some of us are not losing weight because it's not because of what we are eating, it's because of what is eating us. Yeah? It shows up in many, many ways. And then, ultimately, it shows up as disease. How many of us know a really young person? When I was growing up, and you can correct me, when I was growing up, people who had high blood pressure were in their 60s. 60s, 70s, high blood pressure, diabetes, those were diseases of old people. But now I actually know 30-year-olds who have high blood pressure. And I'm like, how? And doctors are always researching these things. And you know, previously we used to be told that the only measure of health is weight. But now doctors are actually finding out, and we have a nurse, an ICU nurse, and you can correct me if what I'm saying is wrong, but I'm accurate. But doctors are actually telling us that 70 to 90% of what we call lifestyle diseases, non-communicable diseases, are actually diseases that are rooted in our emotional well-being. And we measure those good numbers with our eyes, in there. My waistline, and I'm not saying that those are bad, those are good and they're important. But if your emotional well-being is not good, it will still show up as bad numbers in your medical tests. It will show up because it's stress. It will show up because of what you're eating. It will show up because of what is eating you. And then there are other diseases that women are more predisposed to. Things like dementia. Women are more predisposed to such things. Alzheimer's. Yes, men get them, but women are more likely to get them. Yeah? And so, this is not a conversation to which you have until you're 60. We will talk about that when we are 60. We start talking about now. We start talking about now because now you're at the age where you're probably deciding, who am I going to settle with? And is it good for my mental health? Is it good for my heart? Yeah, is it good? Am I at peace with him? Can I be authentic with him? Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves now. Do I feel safe with this man? Am I a safe person? Because some of us are not safe people. Before we start demanding a safe man. Some of us are toxic. And sometimes we don't even know we are because sini life. Mi nilikuwa kwanza si tunakuanga hivyo. Mi kwetu tukikasirika. And you need to begin to have those hard conversations with us. So allow me to say this. Before we begin, I want to ask us to be present here. The thing about women is that we can be here, but uko supermarket, you're doing your shopping list. You're looking at me and thinking, when is she finishing? Or you're wondering whether your house help cleaned that shirt nicely. Please be present. Please be present. And so I'm going to ask us to do an exercise. I want us to sit straight, like Pauline, but not with one leg on top of the other, just straight, with our feet like that. Yeah, if possible, don't lean back, just sit straight. If just find place to sit straight. Both feet nicely like that. Because I want you to be able to feel balance. Yes, thanks, Wanza. Okay. So I'm just going to read this, and I want you to just focus. I don't want you to spend this time together trying too quickly to write notes. Don't try. Because this is not so much about what you will write, it's so much about what you will experience while we are here. Yeah? Don't close your eyes, you can look up, you can do what you want to do, but this is what I want us to begin with. This is a simple poem I wrote. This is what it says. No one warned me that being an adult would feel like carrying invisible weight. We smile, we nod, we keep moving, even when we're breaking inside. Some days, I just want someone to notice. And then some days, I realize that the someone I'm waiting for is me. And so this afternoon, I'm calling us to be present. You're here. Be here. Give yourself the gift of being here. One of the fallacies of this day and age is that we've bought into that. We keep being told, women can multitask, women can multitask. And so you will do 1,500 things, but you can't remember any of them. You will, when I was younger, I remember I would do 3, 4 weddings, Asatu. You know, one wedding, I show up very early in the morning, wakichukua bride, tunapigwa picha. No, stand strategically, usikose kwa hiyo picha, so that they will not say you missed the wedding. You rush to another wedding, you go to church, unapigwa picha. You go to another wedding, you go to the reception, unapigwa picha. You go to another wedding, you go to the evening party, unapigwa picha. Ask me what happened in any of those weddings, and I'm just like, I was busy rushing through the streets of Nairobi. I cannot tell you any wedding I experienced, because I didn't. So today, if I get 3 wedding invitations, I will go for one wedding. And when I'm in that one wedding, I will be fully present. So that when the reception is, when the church is late, I'm not complaining because you don't have another reception at the other end of the city. I will be present. I may go for an evening party, I may go for in the morning, but I will be present. And that's the gift I choose to give myself. By the way, I don't even when my kids know, hey, today mom was speeding, she was on 80. I don't drive fast. I used to. And then I just told myself, where am I running to? Sometimes you're driving so fast because you're in a hurry to get home. So I want us to learn to slow down. And let's be present. This is where I want us to start. I want us to start with our feet, with our legs, whether you're wearing shoes. Just feel your toes, wiggle your toes. Bring attention to your feet. Think about all the beautiful places your feet have taken you. Please close your eyes. Listen to me, don't look at me. Think about all the places your feet have taken you to. Think about the fact that your feet carry your weight. I want you to feel the energy move up your legs. It is said that our legs have most of the bones in our bodies because they carry the most weight. And so think about your feet. Feel the energy go up to your knees. Think about your knees. Maybe it was a childhood fall and you have scars on your knees. And sometimes you remember being told, don't wear a skirt that's above your knees. Or you use that as a measurement and say, my skirt needs to be just below my knee. And be grateful for your knees. Feel the energy go up to your hips, your thighs, the span of your thighs. If you're a mother, you've held a baby on those thighs. You've changed a baby on those thighs. When you sit down, that's maybe where you place your laptop. Let's go further up to the pelvic area. The front side is your female gentle parts. For some of us, those are parts that give us a lot of shame. A lot of pain has come through those parts. Sometimes even embarrassing situations because of the desires that arise there. And then we go to the back, your sitting area. If you're like many women, you're always wondering, is it big enough? Is it small enough? Is it tight enough? They say there's no song that has ever been written for a small one. So you're always wondering, is mine good enough? But you're sitting on it. Can we at least be grateful for that? Feel the energy come to the front again, to your stomach, and down there it covers your female reproductive parts. So maybe that's where you've carried a baby. Maybe that's where you've lost a baby. Maybe you have painful cramps. Maybe you've been trying to have a baby. Maybe you have babies. Can you thank God for the babies that you carried in your womb? Because that's amazing. You've been part of producing life. And then we go up We go round to the span of your back. Feel your spine. Feel the base of your spine. It's called the small of your back. There may be some tension there. There may be some pain there. Because for many of us, that's where our weight rests, on the small of your back. And then we go up on the back, we come to the shoulders, and again, that's another area where heaviness and grief rests. We feel like we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. When you're tired, it just feels so heavy. And you carry all this weight. And you carry all these things that are heavy. It's okay if it gets a bit heavy and you want to cry. It's okay. Because this is a safe place. And then we go to the front. We have our stomach. Think about all the times you've had good meals. We just had a very beautiful lunch. Think about all the times you have eaten emotionally. When you're eating your feelings, when you don't want to talk about what's going on. Or your gut feeling. Something just doesn't sit right with you. But you're pushing forward because what choice do I have? And so you grin and bear it. But it shows up as weight in the tummy area. And then we go up, we will have your breasts. If you breastfed a baby, the privilege, the joy. Again, another area where women often sit and ask, is it big enough? Is it small enough? They have a mind of their own? But I want you to feel below your breast, beneath your breast, there is your heart. It's beating. It's never stopped beating. And as long as it's beating, you're alive. And as long as it's beating, there is hope. And as long as it's beating, we will get through this together. Then I want you to go up your neck. Feel the beauty of it. Feel the elegance of it. It carries your head. It carries everything that you take in. We never even think about thanking God for our necks, but it holds your head up. It's a greater support system. And then we go up into our head, our mouth. Think about the things you say, the words you speak, the words you use, the power of those words. What are you speaking about your life? What are you speaking? What are you calling? What are you claiming? What are you decreeing? What do you use your mouth for? Do you use it to bless? Do you use it to curse? Up your nose. The nose is one of those functions that you don't think about until it's not working. Then you'll remember, I have a nose. Are you grateful for it? Oh, and your eyes. We used to sing and say, be careful, little eyes, what you see. And maybe your eyes have seen things they should never have seen. Maybe your eyes keep darting into the wrong places. What do you see? What do you choose to see? Do you see? Do you look to see? Do you see beyond the eyes? On the sides we have our ears. What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Whose voice is speaking into your life? Is it the voice of the woman who's here today feeling strengthened and encouraged? Or are you still listening to the voice of your standard 2 teacher who told you you'll never amount to anything? Are you listening to the voice of your standard 4 teacher who said you fail in maths and you'll fail in life? So anytime you have an incident, their voice becomes louder. Whose voice are you listening to? Finally, we have our heads, our hair on our head. African hair is beautiful. We can do so many things with our hair. We can change our whole look by a different hairstyle. But more than what we see on the outside of our hair is that your head itself is a powerhouse. In it resides your brain. And nothing is more powerful than a brain, a mind that is made up. And finally, I want you to stretch your hands forward. Stretch your hands forward, shake them, feel them. Think about all the things that your hands are able to do. The work you do today, most of us, our hands play a role, even if you're thinking, I don't do manual labor, but even if it is punching on your laptop, your phone, whatever it is that you do, your hands are beautiful. And we continue to pray that as we continue with this afternoon and into the new year, that the Lord may continue to bless the labor of our hands. We can open our eyes. Feedback, one word. How was that experience? Just one word. Everyone? Anyone? Calming, relief, relaxing, meditative, overwhelming, gratitude, reflection. I pray that this is something you can be able to do for yourself. Every so often, you don't have to remember. There is no script. We don't have to remember what I said. But just sit, plant your feet firmly on the ground, and then just feel, hey, I have feet. Hey, sometimes we forget those parts of us, and just do a body scan. Just remind yourself that all this is working. Emotional awareness is about 3 things. Emotional wellness is about 3 things. It's about awareness, knowing what you're feeling, and then regulation. Regulation is capacity to steady yourself, capacity to remember even who you are. And then the third thing is that it's about expression. To be able to express the right emotion in the appropriate amount, in the appropriate way, in the appropriate space, at the right time. I know that sounds like a lot of appropriateness. By the time we are dealing with all those minishakugonga, and if you're a mother, kiatu ishatembea, But imagine if you are present and you're thinking, awareness, regulation, expression. Before kiatu itembe. Awareness, regulation, expression. Awareness, regulation, expression. And of those things, no one has control over you. Only you make the decisions about those things. And so today, grief is at the center of this conversation. Many times when I say I'm a grief therapist and I talk about grief, people think, who died? But grief is way bigger than death of a loved one. And I'm not saying that death of a loved one is not a big one. It is a big one. But that's not the only thing that we grieve over. In fact, when I was taking my training, we learned that there are up to 42 things that cause grief to the human heart. And I'm sure post-COVID, that number has gone higher. How many of us have ever lost a business, lost a job, lost an opportunity? Yeah? Lost a promotion, applied for something and it didn't come through, and they didn't even have the courtesy to say, we are sorry. You know? Broken up with a boyfriend, broken up with a husband, a relationship coming to an end. All those are grief issues. Moved houses. You are living on one end of the city, you move to the other end, you know, relocation from one county to another. Those are grief issues. Changed jobs. You used to go to work in Westlands, now you're working on Thika Road. You know? And you still can't process which is the exit I'm supposed to get out of, so you're always tense. You know? All those are grief issues. But I want us to look at them in a bigger, more lumped way. How many of us have a dream that you believed in and then you lost it? It didn't come through. Or an identity. My name is so-and-so, and I work for bank XYZ. My name is so-and-so, and I am dating so-and-so. My name is so-and-so, and I am Mrs. So-and-so. My name is so-and-so, and I am a daughter to so-and-so. And then that so-and-so dies, or that so-and-so leaves. Who are you anymore? Lost relationships. A friend even, not necessarily even of the opposite gender, but a friend. Someone you were with in high school, and then you lost touch. They're not on social media. You don't know where to reach them. They just fell off the face of the earth. And you're like, I really would like to know how so-and-so is doing. Lost time. You know those things we write, by the time I am 40, by the time I am 30, and now here you are, you're 50, and none of those by the time things you wrote have come to be. Lost opportunities. You invested in a business, it didn't come through for you, or you invested in a business, it sank, or you didn't invest in a business and now it's thriving. And lost versions of yourself. Maybe there's a part of you that believed in something. There's a part of you that believed in family, and then family kakufanya ile kitu. Held an ideal, believed in anything. And when it failed you, it betrayed you, you lost a version of yourself. And now we are saying, we are done being weak. We are now Al-Shabaab. And so you're showing up now in your relationships ready for war. Because the last time you showed up in your relationship, gentle and soft, ulifanyika ile kitu. And so you're done with that era. Sometimes these losses are invisible, but they shape how we move, how we love, how we show up, how we carry ourselves, and how we view ourselves. Sorry? Okay. And so because we carry the emotional load of family, how many of us are firstborns? Yeah? I'm a lastborn, so I can't relate to that. But I have an older sister, so I see her carrying the emotional weight of the family. And you also feel an obligation to be deputy mom. And you also feel a pressure to walk in perfection. Can I tell you something? Perfection is actually an illusion. Because perfection is saying, unless Nicole does it, it is not done. Unless I do it, nobody else can do it the way I do it. And so you're constantly trying to do everything. Dot the dots for everybody, cross the T's for everybody. Be everything to everyone. And then when they don't show up for you, you're upset and angry. Na vile nilifanya, uliambiwa na nani wafanyie? Nani alikuuliza? Mbona umekasirika nao? And some of us are mothering children we did not bear because they are our mother's children. And we are waiting for our time to come when people will see us and love us in the way we want to be loved. Because nobody has seen us and nobody has loved us in the way we want to be loved. But this afternoon I'm giving you permission to love yourself in the way you want to be loved. Go on. Buy that handbag. I know. Thank God. No, ladies, don't tell Radhika I said this. Buy that coffee. Don't do it every day, but buy that coffee. Some of us are so busy giving everything to everyone, and then you only give yourself leftovers. How many of us have ever felt guilty for, oh my goodness, this weave is 7K. I have no business even wanting it. Oh my goodness, that outfit is so expensive. And then your mom calls you because your neighbor's brother's cousin, sister-in-law, classmate died. And you need to contribute, and you send her the money equivalent to that outfit. And I'm not calling us to be indulgent. That's not the conversation. So please tell Radhika that I corrected that. It's not, I mean, even if you're putting that money into your Ndovu account, that's still good. Still something for yourself. Because you're spending all your resources on your mother's children. And when you grow old, your mother's children will be like, kwani ulikuwa unatumia pesa bila mpango? Ukujiekea kidogo ukitusomesha? We need to learn to start creating boundaries as women. Boundaries, I like the definition of boundaries that says, boundaries is the way that I can love you and love myself at the same time. Many of us love others more than we love ourselves. And the other extreme is we love ourselves more than we love others. But balance is in the middle. Love others and love yourself at the same time. So that you're not loving others at the expense of yourself. Because if you love others at the expense of yourself, eventually you will resent them. So I don't know how the year has been. Any of us has gone through any losses this year and wants to share? Any of us has gone through any loss this year, any loss of any kind? Hata kama ni simu. Simu? Any losses? Anyone who wants to be brave enough to share about a loss they've gone through? Thank you, Cara.
For me, I think one of the losses I have dealt with this year is having started a business and for the first time like having employees and all that. And then one of my employees took a motorbike from my office and then he got hit and died on the road with our motorbike. And that was hard for me to go through. Even to face the family, to go home, I felt like I was responsible. I shouldn't have left the bike in the office. Like, you know, the way you think, maybe if I had locked the office and I didn't leave the motorbike keys there, he wouldn't have taken it, you know. And even when we went to his home for the funeral, I remember we were given a space to sit, but even though I spent the last day on this earth with him, we were not given a chance to talk in his funeral. So I felt like maybe the family feels like it's our fault that he's dead. So yeah, that was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in my business.
Thank you for sharing. Losing an employee in a business can feel like losing a child. Remember that we don't grieve over titles. He may have been an employee, but the responsibility you have over him feels like family. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else wants to share? You want to share for a neighbor? Us guys are good here. We don't go through losses.
Good afternoon, everyone. I happened to lost one of my colleagues last month, and I was given the mandate to actually collect the funds from the other employees, which I felt was very hard, and I really struggled because I was not even able to go for the burial, and I feel it was a tough journey for me, losing someone who was part of the team, a young soul, someone who was vibrant, someone who had dreams in place, and just to see that go through down the drain was really painful.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Clements. Anybody else want to share loss? Anybody else want to share? No obligation. If you don't want to share, it's still okay. But one of the things about grief is that grief is lightened when you talk about it. Grief demands to be witnessed. Grief demands to be seen. And grief demands to be heard. And when it is not seen, when it is not witnessed, when it is not heard, it makes it impossible for us to receive the support we need. And because when we support you through grief, we can't change the loss. When we support you through grief, we can't change the loss. We can't reverse the loss. Some of the losses we go through are irreversible. And so to recover from grief is not to go back to the way things were before the loss. To recover from the loss is to be able to live in a manner that enhances your well-being, even as you remember the loss, even as you integrate the loss in your life. Sometimes you're given the impression that to heal from loss is to forget. How do you forget? I lost my mom in February this year. How do I forget? So asking me to forget is asking me to do something impossible. And so we don't heal by forgetting. We actually heal by remembering. Remembering with love, remembering with truth, and remembering with gratitude. And so, how many of us have gone through things that we haven't named? When we think about it, we say, okay, I just feel bad. Because you've never named it. You've never named your loss. Here's the thing. We need to be able to name our losses. And what I name, we may go through the same loss, but what I name my loss is not necessarily what you're going to name your loss. Because we are different. And because we grieve differently, we experience life differently. So we're going to name it different things. So name it. When you name an emotion, your brain becomes less reactive to it. It stops feeling less like a threat. And you start knowing that I have control over it. Those of us that are Christians and are believers, the Word of God says that at the name of Jesus, everything that has a name shall bow. So everything, anger, betrayal, isolation, rejection, withdrawal, disapproval, disappointment, injustice, everything has a name. And so we name it. And so I want us to do some journaling. I want us to do some journaling prompts. And the reason, and I've titled our journaling today, Freedom, because we're going to use that as an acronym as we journal. You can read it on the paper and then write it down. But those are handouts. Don't try to catch up. Those are handouts so that the things that we've talked about today, you are able to carry them with you. But allow me to walk us through the journaling experience. One of the things about journaling is, I say there's a head, heart, hand coordination. The heart feels what it feels. The head gives it language and vocabulary. And then the hand writes it. Now, it's very hard to lie in your journal. It's very easy to lie in a report at work. But in your journal, you know the truth. And so journaling is very effective. One of the things that I like about journaling is I can write whatever I want. I can write about whoever I want. And if you read my journal, and you are upset or shocked by the things that are there, imagine that's just a glimpse of what is inside my head and my heart. Secondly, people's journals need to be respected. Journal ya mtu, ukisoma journal ya mtu upate vitu hazijakufurahisha huko, ni kama uangalie handkerchief ya mtu useme umepata vitu hazijakufurahisha. Ulikuwa unafanya nini huko? What were you doing there? But some of us don't necessarily have the privilege of privacy. There are people around you that are just nosy and interested in what you do. So one of my clients, I thought that was very innovative. She's in an intercultural marriage. So she journals in Luo and leaves it on the table. Anyway, I guess that was long before chat. I don't even. Anyway, I'm not sure, but I guess it was safe before chat. I guess it was safe before ChatGPT. Eh? And even if it does, its accuracy is very low. Yeah. So she journals in her mother tongue and leaves it on top there. Ni sawa tuiko hapo soma. You know? And I just thought, you're not nice. But I thought that was very innovative. Yeah? It's very, sometimes we journal so that we can sometimes I am so tense. Sometimes, some seasons in my life, I carry the journal in the car. So that when I sit down, I can offload what is in my heart and then I'm able to proceed with the rest of my day. Because there's so many things going on. Yeah? So journaling is one of the most precious things you can do for yourself. And then we journal about different things, and it's good to have different kinds of journals. It's good to have a gratitude journal. Yeah? Get a gratitude journal so that you can and the gratitude journal, every day, I dare you. In fact, we can try this. So we've created the WhatsApp group. But today when we leave here, see the WhatsApp group is live. Write 5 things you're grateful for today. 5 things. Everybody, by end of day, Sally, you'll be able to know who was grateful for lunch, who was grateful for yoga. 5 things that you're grateful for today. Then have another journal and just call it prayers. Require prayers. These are my prayers. Yeah. Have another journal and write. Call it your dreams. You know. And let me tell you the power of journaling. Sometimes I sit down and read some things in my journal. And I'm like, Yani, this small thing was stressing me like this. And then sometimes I read and I'm like, wow, this stopped being such a factor. I don't even remember that it was such a big issue anymore. And so journaling helps you to see even growth in yourself. Journaling helps you keep a lot of things together. And so today I want us to journal using the freedom framework. Number one in the freedom framework is face the loss. What was the loss? Was it big? Was it small? And here, big or small is not about how you felt it or how if I lost a phone that is if I lost a kabambe versus if I lost an iPhone 17. That's not what we mean by big and small. By the way, I can lose a kabambe and it has all my M-Pesa transactions. I'll still feel the loss. So it's not about the price of the item. It may have been a kabambe, but it was given to me by my mother before she passed on. What's the price of that phone? It's priceless. Yeah? So what was the loss, big or small? And how has it shaped you today as a woman? How has that loss shaped you? And the reason we need to acknowledge our losses is sometimes there are voices around us, maybe even your own voice, that wants you to minimize your loss. Hiyo kitu kidogo tu hivyo ndio inafanya ulia hapa siku 3. If it was important to me, if it was precious for me, I'm going to grieve it. By the way, I can be very dramatic. I'm going to dress in black. I lost my phone. I'm going to buy coffee. Tell Radhika I'm grieving. Yeah? So bring that grief to the light. And it's not necessarily so that you can talk. It's not necessarily so that you can talk about it with 50 people. If my grief is shared with one person, then my grief has been witnessed. That's it. One person who truly understands me, sees me, and hears me, that's it. Grief demands to be witnessed. Number 2, recognize the emotion. What emotion am I afraid to feel fully? And what might that emotion be? By the way, some of us are even afraid to be happy, afraid to be too happy. Because if I'm too happy, what if I jinx this happy season and then something bad happens and cuts short my happiness? So we are actually afraid of being happy. So even when something good is happening, you're like, Bas, I am so happy. I am in such a good place. Oh God, what's about to go bad? So you can't even enjoy the moment. Some of us are afraid of crying because what if I never stop? But in the history of crying, no one has ever cried for a year. No one has ever even cried for a month. By the way, do you know when you're crying, even 10 minutes of crying is really, really hard? When you're crying, 2 minutes of crying is enough. Imagine it's enough. 2 minutes of crying is enough. Hiyo kitu inakutoka. You know? So why are we afraid of crying? Because we've been told that crying is weak. Tears are weakness. Especially corporate world. I was in corporate world for 15 years, so I know that space. Naming the emotion reduces overwhelm, and it increases emotional clarity. So name it. The first E is embodied awareness. Where do I feel most of my grief or tension today? Grief shows up in different areas of our lives. For some people, in our bodies. For some people, it's a headache that is here at the back of your head. For other people, it's nasikia nika nimebeba vitu kwa and you feel the heaviness here. For some people, it's the small of your back here. It's an ache that doesn't let go. For other people, it's their legs. They get heavy. For other people, it's their hands. Nasikia nika nimebeba mavitu. For other people, it's your digestive system. Have you ever had, I got bad news, I had a bowel movement, or I can't eat, my stomach is bloated. Or by the way, and thank you for reminding me that our reproductive system responds to grief. A couple of years back, I don't know whether we should keep the camera rolling. A couple of years back, I've talked about it in the public space. I don't mind. A couple of years back, we lost an auntie in a very tragic incident. And my auntie died on a Friday morning. And I had just begun my period on Thursday. And I don't remember thinking about it until, because this happened in December, until January, when we were looking at the photos for because on Saturday I actually went somewhere for another event and then traveled on Sunday. But do you have those clothes, that this one I would never wear when I'm having my periods? We all have those clothes. So I was looking at that, for those photos, for that event that I went for on Saturday after the death, and this was in January, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this dress I would never have worn. So, and that period was very blurry. I don't know what happened. But come January and I don't get my period. And then February, and I call a friend of mine, she's a guy, and I tell her, hey, Mutindi Manze, there's something going on. So she's like, what's going on? So I'm like, I haven't had my period since December. And if I remember correctly, it just disappeared. I have horrible cramps, so I would notice if they were there. And she said, but Mweni, you just lost your auntie. And it was such a tragic loss because she died in a road accident. So your body is in shock and your body is processing. And it was very interesting because I know it in my head because I'm a therapist and I know that, but I'd never experienced it. And so she says, I can give you dawa to stir your body to bring them back. Or if you're okay with them being away, you can give your body time to heal itself. And I said, okay, let me give it my body time. February, March, April, May. My periods came June, July. Yeah. So our body is going to shock. I have had so many cases of people saying they were trying to get pregnant, and because they were trying so hard, they were not getting pregnant until they decided, I'm done with trying to get pregnant. And then they relaxed and they got pregnant. So our bodies carry the grief. Our bodies know what, our minds are powerful, and our minds decide how our bodies are going to respond to whatever we are going through. And so we embody awareness. Second E, examine the invisible load you carry. What is that load that you're carrying, where you have been strong for so long? And what has that strength been costing you? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating well? Even our relationship with what we call leisure activities. Are you drinking too much? Are you trying to drown something? How are your relationships? Are you showing up as needy? Are you showing up as healthy in your relationship? Are you showing up as your mother? Or are you trying so hard to not show up as your mother? How are you showing up in your relationship? How are you showing up in your relationship with your boxing gloves on? Because everything is a fight with you. Discover what you need. What softness, support, or rest do I need right now? What do I need right now? Some of us are, and it's easy to joke about it and say, right now, a million bob. It's very easy to always joke about it and say, right now, my greatest need is money. But it's also possible that while money may be a need, money may not be the solution. So what's your greatest need right now? O is own the meaning. What has this season of loss? What has this year of loss? What have the losses that you've gone through this year revealed about your values, about your resilience, about yourself? Grief is a great revealer. Grief is an amazing revealer. Loss reveals so many hidden things. Finally, I pray that you'll be able to move forward gently. What supportive practice can you adopt this week to improve, support, enhance, or nurture your emotional wellness? So there you are. Face the loss, recognize the emotion, embodied awareness, examine the invisible loss, discover what you need, own the meaning, and move forward gently. That's how you step into freedom. So I want us to do a final closing exercise for this. Feet firmly on the ground. That exercise has, I'm hoping, has brought to the fore the things that you really long for, the things that you deeply long for in 2026. So may I request that you close your eyes. The things that you long for in 2026 are available for the one who believes. Breathe in. Believe they're available. Hold on to them because they're not coming and going. And then release that which you don't want. Breathe in. Think about what you want. Hold it, keep it, breathe out that which you don't want. Thank you very much.